All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we're talking Dallas Cowboys second-year linebacker Marist Liufau. Liufau has a lot of playmaking ability for this linebacking core for Dallas, and we'll break down some cut-ups today showcasing exactly what he'll bring to the Cowboys going forward. If you want more Liufau clips or more Dallas Cowboy footage, film reviews, deep dives in general, become a member of my Patreon, all 22 with Nick Rudman. There's a link in the description box below, but without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, first play here, you can see Leafoul, number 35 for Dallas, lined up with number 41 right here on the left side of your screen in a double A-gap linebacker blitz look, right? You have both linebackers, 41 and Leafoul, number 35, walked up in both A-gaps. For those of you guys who aren't familiar, the A-gaps are the gaps directly between the center and the two guards. The B-gaps would be the gaps right here between the guards and the tackles, and the C gaps are the gaps outside of the tackles, just like this. And when you have two linebackers walked up in the A gap, basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to create chaos inside where the center has to take one and the running back has to take the other. So you can see the Cowboys, they have 4 down defensive linemen in a normal look right there. You see the 4th over here on the far right. These guys are going to occupy the guards and the tackles. So like I said, that's going to leave the center on him and the running back on him. And this is where a guy like Leafoul shows off great playmaking ability. Leafoul's job is to take out the center just like this and then work up the field. The goal, the thought here, is that because the center is closer to 41 and the running back's on the side of Leafoul, the center will pick up 41, the running back is targeting Leafoul. So if Leafoul does his job and takes out number 62, the running back will still pick him up. 41 will be able to get pressure on the quarterback. Watch Leafoul here do a really nice job executing the play design while also making a good faith effort to make the play in his own right. This is a nice job by the rookie. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see right there, the center's picking up 41. The running back's looking right at 35, Leafoul. Leafoul targeting the center right away. Hits him right there. See how he occupies 2 guys and allows 41 to go free. Forces the quarterback to escape the pocket. The play's in trouble there for the Buccaneers offense. Let's watch Leafoul, though. He does his job right there, but the next part is to work through, right? It's not just doing your job and taking out the center. It's going that extra effort, fighting through the garbage, and getting pressure on the quarterback. Helps force the incomplete pass. This is great playmaking right here by number 35. This is what you need from a linebacker, certainly a playmaking linebacker, the way Leafoul is advertised. You do your job, you free things up for your teammates here, but you also make the play in your own right. You fight through garbage and help your team out. Nice work from the rookie. All right, from the wide copy, you get a really good look at this right here. 35, he notices the running back, attacks the center. You can see right there, center and running back are on 35 on Leafoul. 41 for Dallas comes free, forces the quarterback to release outside the pocket. And there you can see number 35, Leafoul, does his job, but then fights through the trash in his own right and gets pressure on the quarterback. Nice rep from the rookie. All right, next play here for the Cowboys and Leafoul. Very similar look. You got both linebackers walked up in the A-gap. Here the Buccaneers are going to take a different approach. They're going to try and cross up the Cowboys and get a quick hitter with the running game. The goal here, and it's not a bad strategy, is with all the Cowboys blitzing and doing all these kind of different looks and stunts, you can get the defense all crossed up in hyper pass rush mode, and then you can fire through everyone and get into the open field where there's a lot of green grass, right? This actually is a pretty good approach. A lot of teams do it very successfully. The way you can stop that from a defensive perspective is to have smart guys like Leafoul here recognize it's a run, get on in your gap, secure the block, make sure you don't get out of position, and force the running back to just pause and try and react and try and find a hole. Because once the running back doesn't have the ability to make it a quick hitter, the play basically dies, right? At that point, you've got so much chaos in the backfield, they're able to blow it up. The only way you're able to do that, however, is if you got smart players like Leafoul. He does a really nice job on this rep. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see it's going to be an inside run. Right there, the Buccaneers kind of screwed up. They didn't block 55 from the Dallas Cowboys, so it makes the play pretty easy. I think the goal from the Bucs is they thought there was going to be some kind of funky stunt here, and they thought the left guard would pick up 55, the left tackle would get out in space, and they'd be off to the races from there. Doesn't really work out for them, so this play is kind of dead for the Buccaneers. But you can see right here, the running back actually does a great job dodging the players right here for the Cowboys on the edge, 55 and 27 coming across. So this has a chance to actually still break through and be a decent play. But watch Leafoul does a great job. He recognizes it's a run, good contain. He has his gap. You see his head, feet, body position. Perfect. Arms extended. That's what you want. He is an A-gap player. That's exactly what he's lined up right here. The A-gap, like I mentioned, he secures the A-gap. He's got his eyes on the running back right there, maintains that leverage at all times, and ends up being part of the tackle. This is good quality fundamental football. A lot of times, certainly young linebackers in this situation, they see it's a blitz, then they see it's going to be a handoff, they then fly and completely lose contain, they lose all gap integrity, and then a running back, and a lot of times has a chance to really break through. Right here, let's say Liufau had decided to jump really far outside. This running back may have squirted through here and had a decent little run out of this. Now, of course, they didn't block 55, so it would have been hard for number 7 for Tampa Bay to have a really nice play. But let's say they actually blocked 55, for Carl Lawson for the Cowboys, no longer with Dallas, but let's say if they would have blocked him here on this play, there was a little bit of a chance right here to maybe scoot through this. But because Liufau did his job, the Buccaneers offensive lineman's butt in the hole, he's in the A-gap, play never stood a chance. Nice work from 35. All right, from the wide copy, you get a really good look at it right here. Watch that extension. Look at that footwork. Look at that base. Got his eyes right there in the backfield. This is perfect stuff. Again, maintaining gap control, not out of position, offensive lineman, butt in the hole. This is textbook stuff here from Marist Liufau. All right, sticking with the run defense, you can see Liufau right there on the left side of your screen. And anytime you're playing linebacker, it's not just about flying around and making tackles. It's about doing your job, maintaining your gap, focusing on your assignment. And the Dallas Cowboys the last couple of years, and really last year, they've given their defensive ends, in this case, I think this is Chauncey Golston here on the left, again, no longer with the Dallas Cowboys, a lot of latitude to kind of fly around and just make plays. This was the DeMarcus Lawrence effect. Personally, I was not a fan of this at times. I think it got a lot of their guys out of position, put linebackers in bad spots all the time over the past couple of years when it came to stopping the run, but that's just how the Cowboys coached it. They gave their defensive ends a lot of latitude to make plays. So what the Buccaneers are going to do here, they're basically going to block down everyone this way, this direction like this. They're going to take 87 in motion pre-snap, and they're going to bring 41 around. So their entire goal is to get everybody, let me clean up the picture here, to get everybody for the Cowboys sealed off inside here, including this defensive end once he jumps around, and then get this tight end or this fullback H-back to seal the edge right here. So we're going to get a massive seal here to the entire defense. Running back goes outside of it. That's a design for the Buccaneers. Liufau does a great job recognizing that, takes over being the edge defender, forces the play inside to his help. It's a nice rep from the young player. Let's check it out. All right, there's 87 in motion. There's a snap. You can see everyone from the Buccaneers is working down to their right. You can see 41 comes around the formation just like that. You can see 78 washes down the defensive end for Dallas inside. He gets a little too far inside. Does a good job bouncing back out, forces a running back inside and makes the play. Good job by 99 overall. But we see sometimes with Dallas Cowboys defensive ends over the past couple of years, they get caught in the trash and the running back's able to bounce to a seam for a good play. But if we freeze it right here, let's imagine Liufau gets caught in the trash right here and he doesn't have outside contain. Bucky Irving, the running back for the Buccaneers here, is a really good athlete. He could scoot around right here for a huge play. But Marist Liufau recognizes it early. He's got eyes on 87, bounces outside, maintains that leverage. You watch his broadcast footage, and you're like, he kind of blocked out. Not terrible, but not exactly a great play from the young linebacker. This is perfect stuff, right? Right here, he recognizes what's happening, maintains good leverage, forces the running back into his help, minimal gain for the Bucs offense, win for the Cowboys defense, right? A lot of times playing linebacker is bailing out your defensive lineman or playing in such a way that your defensive lineman can make plays. When you have guys like Micah Parsons, you're going to be playing linebacker a lot like this, and this is exactly what Marist Liufau can bring to the table. Obviously, he's got some flaws, and we'll cover them over the course of this film review, but I think very clearly he's a fundamentally sound football player who has a real knack for making big plays. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Liufau right there. Where he aligns, you can see he's actually more a B-gap player by alignment here. But as this play progresses, again, 87 in motion, you can see 99 jump inside. He immediately scoots outside, takes the outside shoulder of the tight end, and forces a running back into his help. Phenomenal work from number 35. All right, another pass rush situation. This is going to be a very complex game here for the Cowboys up front. They're going to have 97 work across this way. They're going to have Liufau replace him as the B-gap rusher. We're going to see Micah Parsons work inside as well. We're going to see Carl Lawson, 55, come off the edge. And the Cowboys generally do a great job and totally blow this play up. It's a really nice job defensively for Dallas. But again, I want you guys to focus on Liufau. He doesn't necessarily win outright. He does a good job in terms of maintaining his gap integrity, but he has a knack for finding the football. He doesn't even make the play necessarily on this rep, but it's just his willingness, his effort, and his motor to always see ball, get ball, allows other players to finish the play. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see Osa Dikizua work through the center. You can see Liufau basically take over, being that B-gap rusher right there. You can see a lot of pressure right in the quarterback's face. Baker Mayfield escapes one, escapes Liufau, can't escape Parsons, fumbles. Cowboys nearly recover. They ruled that this actually went out of bounds. Tough break for Dallas there. Still a big loss for the Buccaneers offense. And if we rewind this all the way to the beginning, you can see exactly what I'm talking about with Liufau. Does his job, good assignment, right? He's not out of position, maintains his lane integrity. So right here is really important. I love, he's not at the quarterback, doesn't really know where the quarterback it is. He doesn't just throw his body in the mess. Some young linebackers and young defensive players do this, right? They sit there and say, oh, pocket's collapsing, let me throw my head in there. No, he kind of escapes, looks around, surveys the situation, and then recognizes the quarterback and then tries to make the play. Now, this is one thing with Liufau that happened a lot during his rookie year. There were a lot of times he was right there to make the play in his own right and couldn't quite get it done. Actually, later in this game, the game-winning play for Dallas when Deron Bland ripped the ball away from the Buccaneers running back, that running back actually broke Liufau's tackle first. Now, Liufau obviously slowed him up and ended up helping the Cowboys make the play, but this is an example of what I'm talking about, where he's right there, he's doing everything right, finish. Now make the play, get him on the ground. It ends up being a win for Dallas, so you certainly take that if you're the Cowboys defense, but Liufau is so close to making this play, getting the sack in his own right. He just needs to clean up his tackling a little bit. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Liufau right here. Fires off inside Oso Digizua, then works around, sees the quarterback, recognizes as a scramble, gets on him. Again, can't quite make the play. Helps force the fumble, however, has a chance to get over here and try and recover it. I love that, by the way, at the very end. I know a lot of people may see this as a little ticky-tacky. Maybe could have been called. Listen, this is a chance to recover a fumble, maybe return it for a touchdown. You never know. Deliver a shot. Send a message. I like that kind of stuff. This isn't illegal. This is clean. It's not a blindside block. Head in the right place. Look, that's just good football right there. You don't know. 41 may have scooped and scored here right there. He may not have ruled out of bounds. Give your team a chance like that from Liufau. All right, very next play in the game, it's 3rd and 1,000,000 for the Buccaneers. You can see Liufau's feet right here. They're really dropping back on defense, obviously, because it's 3rd in a long time. Let's watch Liufau, how he breaks on the football and delivers a powerful hit. Nothing to do with stopping the run or pass rush, but I love this from the young linebacker. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see it's a 3-man rush. Quarterback has time. Step up, step up. Hit the underneath route to try and get a few yards, so maybe get in field goal range, but you can see Liufau sees him, sees ball, get ball, boom, clean hit, ball's out. You're talking about textbook, folks? Let's see if I can freeze it. Right there. Shoulder, football, not head-to-head. This is perfect form, perfect technique. This is awesome. When I saw this live, going back to the broadcast footage, I was like, man, this could have been a penalty. This was almost a disaster for the Cowboys. But when you take a look at the film after the fact, a few months later, you're like, this is perfect stuff, folks. And these are the plays that really impress when it comes to Liufau, right? Good, fundamentally sound player. Good gap player, smart player. His playmaking ability, his tackling is a problem sometimes when it comes to making the play itself. But I tell you what, he just has the ability, just has a knack for forcing turnovers, for getting balls out of the hands of the opposition. We're going to cover that more over the course of this film, and this play is just a perfect example of this. Love this contact, love his mentality. All right, from the wide copy, get a great look at him right there. Again, Cowboys 3rd and 1,000,000 dropping the coverage. He sees it the entire way. Right there, quarterback's eyes. Look at this. He's like, oh, I'm going to kill him. Boom. Perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Send a message. What you need right there. That's what you want. This is exactly how you play defense, guys. Clean football right there. Look at that. Look at that form. My goodness. He's got his back low, pad level dough, head up, shoulder on the football, delivers the shot right to the rib cage. Clean hit. Awesome job here from Marist Liufau. All right, thank you for watching this film review. The good news is this is just part 1 of this series. If you want access to the rest of the content, the rest of the plays, become a member of my Patreon, all 22 with Nick Rudman. There's a link in the description box below that will take you right there. Once again, Patreon account, my account, all 22 with Nick Rudman. We've got all kinds of special content, deep dives, film reviews for you, the fan. Make sure you check it out, and I hope to see you there.